Right, this last section is about why we should be doing this. You know, I kind of alluded to this earlier on, that nothing that happens in this world is unconnected. You know, we see all these things that happen in this world as separate events. You know, no connection with anything else, but they're all connected. They really are. Almost all of the corporations are controlled by the same people. They're going to be all financial institutions, all banks. Okay, the same people control.
She's one of them.
It's her. Yeah. So the same people keep turning up as the ones who are in control. They don't own things, they control them. They have controlling interests in things. This is a project that was undertaken by these Swiss economists in 2007, where they mapped all the transnational corporations, all the multinational corporations, and mapped how they were connected to all the others. Yeah, and literally there's about just over 1,300 multinational corporations. Okay, and they're all connected to each other. You know, this corporation owns a controlling share in this one, and so on and so on. And out of all those, there's 147 of them, the ones in red, have a controlling interest in all the others, or 80% of the entire network. So just take that in for a second. You know, these red ones have a controlling interest in 80% of all the others. Yeah.
Who owns the others 100?
Right. Well, bear in mind that this was done in 2007, before the crash. Okay. And what happens in a crash? All the prices go down because we're in a crash, and then the banks come along and scoop everything up because it's all at bargain basement prices. So this map is well out of date now. I can guarantee you that these 147 have been consolidated into a much smaller number, and I can probably guarantee that it's now more than 80%. It's probably all of it now. That's a small group own a controlling interest in all of the others. Okay, this is what's been going on for the last 100 years. It's been a consolidation, a very slow, gradual consolidation, so that a very small number of people own everything.
You've heard about the 13 families?
Yes, but this is like we're keeping it a bit light. I've now lost my train of thought now. Thanks.
Sorry.
Yeah. So bear in mind, there's one particular family back in 1900. This one family owned half the wealth of the entire world. One family, which meant the rest of the world had to make do with half the wealth of the world.
Is that Rothschild?
Rothschilds.
Does that mean that they're sleeping?
Sorry?
Does that mean they're sleeping?
No, it means that was 1900. Since then, there's no reason to believe that they haven't sort of increased their power. The point is, they stay back in the shadows because they've learned that if you're fabulously wealthy and you flaunt it, you're a target. Yeah. So now they just stay back in the shadows. They don't flaunt their wealth. Who here has heard of the Rothschild family?
What?
Oh, okay. They're not doing a good job.
I worked for them.
Oh, do you? Get
Used
out.
to, not years ago.
Yeah.
And you know the Corporation of the United Kingdom?
Yeah.
Which is our government?
Yep.
Our everything?
Yep.
All everything? Well, their registered address is 6 Sharon Court in Dunbar Street.
That's right.
That is Rothschild's. Because
Oh,
when
is
I
it?
worked for them, that was their in-house name for themselves.
Oh.
And they're given them.
Well, did everybody know that the City of London isn't part of England? Everybody know that? It's an independent state, just like the Vatican. Yeah, there are 3 places in the world that are like that. There's the Vatican, it's an independent state within a host country that isn't part of that country. There's the City of London, okay, the square mile. Sorry? No. Oh yeah, no, it's not. It's Washington DC.
Yeah.
Is the 3rd one. Each one of those is a separate city-state within the host country. Doesn't belong to that country. Has its own laws, own police. It's a separate state.
That's why they don't pay any tax.
They don't pay any tax. Okay. Now the City of London is the financial centre of the world. Yeah, it's all controlled from just over there. Yeah. The Vatican is a spiritual centre of the world. Okay. No, it is, because it actually controls all the other religions. Yeah, when you really look into it, the Vatican controls all these other fake religions, and they're all fake. I'm sorry if everyone who's religious,
No,
but
they're all fake.
sorry, I won't go into that. I'll get stuck.
Yes, I know. I'll be with you.
And Washington DC is a military control of the world. That's why the Americans are going around taking over everywhere, because that's the military control. So, literally, a small group of people own all these corporations, and most of these large multinational corporations, have a GDP greater than some countries. Yeah, these corporations control countries. And essentially it's the people behind those corporations who control countries. The corporations are working with the banks and working with the government and working with the military and the courts. It's all a mafia game, a mafia organisation. We think they're all disconnected and they're all working independently for our benefit. They're not. They're all working together, colluding against us. You'll never get justice in a court. You will never get justice in a court. I can say that about 10 times. It won't get into your head until you actually get up there and see for yourself that you won't get justice there. It's a casino. Sometimes they let somebody win, just like a casino will let a few people win, so that everybody will try their luck next time. Yeah, you'll never get justice in a court. Yeah, all these corporations aren't working for your benefit. Okay, and the military as well. Again, they're not working for our benefit. They're not over in Afghanistan, fighting for our freedom or anything like that. And this cartel of all these corporations and banks and the militaries, they've been waging a war for profit around the world since World War II, since way before that.
But also, what I saw in the archives I saw in the papers concerning Waterloo.
Oh yeah.
And it was they financed the whole thing, but they also financed the podium.
Yes, that's their modus operandi. They start wars. Okay, they foment wars and they fund both sides. Hitler was funded by the Americans. Prescott Bush, George Bush's granddad, funded the Nazis. Ford Motor Company sent vehicles over to the Germans to fight their own people. Yeah. Yes, they're related to the Queen. They're also a German family. They went over from Germany to America. They had a different name. I can't remember the name. Schiff. Yeah.
But the British, the Queen and Germany are connected anyway.
Well, yeah, they're a German family. They're Saxe-Coburg-Gotha family.
Yeah.
And they changed their name to Windsor so they sound English. You know, we've got a German queen.
Is it under Jewish connection for them as well?
Yeah, there's yes,
Yes,
it's all bound in.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother talk. I mean, this is essentially a Jewish country. But
But all the wealth is all basically on the Jewish, in Jewish hands.
yeah, but I'm not. But those people who control all this, they're not Jews. They're not. They don't ally themselves with anyone. They ally themselves with themselves. Okay, they might hide behind the name Jew. You know, they might hide behind it, but they're not.
They're Zionists, aren't they?
They're Zionists, and they'll hide behind it and they'll say, yes, it's totally different. Yeah, we're getting into we're going off topic, but
And you're running out of time.
yeah, I'm running out of time. Yeah, the point is, they get all their money to do all these things that they're doing all around the world from one place. Anyone care to guess where?
Us.
Yes? You. That's it. It's where they're getting their money from. And, you know, I say it's all connected. Your council tax, it's going to fund the wars. I've got a letter from one of my letters in my back and forth. All these, I think it's about the 15th letter I sent to, or they sent back to me, where they say council tax is not for local services. They say that in black and white. It's not for local services.
Never has been.
Never has been. Your road tax isn't road tax. It doesn't go anywhere near the road. Yeah? Nor does income tax.
Not the NI.
Well, national insurance actually goes. Some of it goes to the national insurance and national health service. Your roads are paid for by the tax on petrol. Okay, literally, all these taxes, and there are more than you can even imagine. Yeah, literally, you only get to keep 1% of all the money you ever earn. Yeah, the rest goes in taxes on food, on everything. Okay, you get 1%. You're living on 1% of everything you earn. You just have to, go home and think about that for a minute. Yeah, it's just crazy. Now there's a short film I'm going to show. The second half, I have to warn you, is it's very American and lots of swearing in it. But I find that comedians are usually right bang on of what's going on. They know exactly, because they have to think about what's funny about what's happening in the world, and they're usually very switched on. But this guy swears a lot, so if you're a delicate nature, you might want to cover your ears and go, "Mummy," or whatever. Okay, so here's a short film.
We economic hitmen have managed to create the world's first truly global empire, and it's basically a secret empire. We do it in many ways, but principally we identify a country that has resources our corporations covet, like oil, arrange a huge loan to that country from the World Bank or one of its sisters. The money never actually goes to the country, it goes to our own corporations to build big infrastructure projects in that country that help a few very wealthy people, but don't benefit the majority of the people who are too poor to buy electricity or have cars to drive on the highways, and yet they're left holding a huge debt that they can't repay. So we go back at some point and say, you can't pay your debts. Give us a pound of flesh, sell your oil real cheap to our oil companies. Vote with us on the next critical UN vote. Allow us to build a military base in your backyard. Something along these lines. And when we fail, the jackals go in and either overthrow or assassinate these leaders. And if the jackals fail, as they did in Iraq, then we send in the military. I don't think the failure is capitalism. I think it's a specific kind of capitalism that we've developed. We've created what I consider a mutant, viral form of capitalism. And this mutant form of capitalism, which I think is really a predatory form of capitalism, has created an extremely unstable, unsustainable, unjust, and very, very dangerous world. I've met a lot of terrorists. I've interviewed them for books. I've never met one who wanted to be a terrorist. They're desperate people. If we want to get rid of terrorism, we must get rid of the root causes, that cancer that is destroying our whole system. Because I think it's really important that we understand today we cannot have homeland security unless we understand that the whole planet is our homeland.
Before I go on, what you saw there is essentially what happened in Libya. Yeah, they've been demonising Gaddafi for years because they put him in there. He didn't go with the program. Yeah, and they blamed him for things like Lockerbie and some German bombing of a nightclub. Neither of which were anything to do with him. They blamed him, and then they sent the jackals in to try and kill him, and they couldn't. And now the next thing they did was send the military in later on, and now they've managed to do the job. And just like you saw after they bombed the entire country, which they did, the corporations have moved in to take over. Okay. So again, this next bit's sorry. Yeah. First thing they do. First thing they do, turn it into a Rothschild. Yeah. And yeah, that's right. But very quickly, I know I'm probably running out of time. Thing about Libya is that most people don't know is that a Libyan petrol is 14p a gallon for a Libyan. Okay, free electricity. They had free healthcare, free education all around the world. If they wanted to go to America to get an education, the Libyan government would pay for it. You know, when you get married, the first thing you get is a lump sum and a house. There were no homeless people in Libya because Gaddafi basically housed everybody before himself and his family. He made a vow to the people, I'm going to house everybody before my own family. And he did. He actually did. Everybody in Libya used to get a check every month for their share of the oil. Well, when did you get your share? You know, North Sea oil. When did you get your check? You know?
Saddam Hussein was going to do that to his people. He wanted to share his oil.
Yeah, that's it. See?
Gaddafi is the hero, not the boss.
Yes, he is a hero. You know, and he was bringing it all together, and I cover that in a little while actually. But here's the second part of this film. As I say, I warn you, there's a bit of swearing and stuff.
A lot of shit comes up that people would want to vote on, like the bailouts, the war, all things of this nature. There's a lot of things that people would like that's going to affect us. We would like to vote on this, but you don't get to vote on it. You get to vote on a representative. These people are going to represent you once they get into office. And think about some of the laws that are in place to protect corporations. Think about some of the laws that are in place that fuck people over every day. They wouldn't be there if people were voting for them. We all have this desire to have someone lead us. We all have this feeling where we need someone who's smarter and wiser, who represents us, you know. And when you're really fucking dumb, the problem is really dumb people. They get a say in everything too, and they're subject to a lot of tricks. They're subject to nationalism. They're subject to these kind of ridiculous rah America speeches that don't say jack shit. They say nothing. It's all just this cheerleading fucking event, and they're subject to it. They can't help it. They're dumb. They don't know they're being bullshitted. They grew up around dumb people. They go to work with dumb people. There's no one in their family that's interesting or asks any questions at all, and they just get sucked right into it, man. This society is so greedy, we're willing to go to war. We're willing to go places and send these big metal machines that kill people and fuck people up just so we can make more money. And the way our society is set up, I mean, I've heard it argued, and argued successfully, that our society runs on war. You know, it runs on the domination of the other parts of the world. And literally, that's the only way you can control a gigantic chunk of the globe. You have to keep everybody down, you know, and that's what our society is based on. We can't be fighting over each other because, you know, this guy's like 1 million people die in Iraq, and everybody goes, hey, as long as it doesn't happen over here. But it is, that is over here. It's just over here, over there. It's the same thing. It's the people you don't know that were born somewhere else who fucking got jacked. You get trapped in that whole idea of, you know, this is my team, these are my people, and, you know, someone fucking plays a country music song and throws up a flag, and I'm in. Fuck it. It feels good. Feels good to be in, right? Feels good. God bless America. Feels good. Singing around with a bunch of other people and you're all drinking. We're the fucking baddest motherfuckers on the planet. Woo! And that's how people get recruited. It's a clusterfuck, man. These poor fucking kids, man. Could you imagine being 18, 19, being talked into doing this shit for a bunch of bloodthirsty motherfuckers who just are trying to get whatever they're trying to get over there, whatever the fuck it is, whether it's lithium, you know, minerals in the mountains that they use to make cell phones, whether it's 90% plus of the world's opium supply, 90 fucking percent. That is a multi-billion-dollar business. And if you think these fucking industrialist cocksuckers that are running the world are going to leave that money behind, you're fucking crazy. Dude, they've got United States Army troops guarding Poppy Field. There's fucking so much heroin there. I mean, it's incredible. The fucking brother of the president of Afghanistan. His brother was selling heroin and getting paid by the CIA. I mean, god damn it. Heroin is absolutely addictive, okay? People who try heroin get hooked. Heroin is everywhere, okay? So you need to sell it. Someone's selling it. Who's selling it? I don't know, but 90% of it comes from this one place where we have to be to save our freedom. You can't criticize it, because if you criticize it, you're a shithead. You don't appreciate the troops and what they're doing for you, and that's not the case at all. I just don't like the idea of these fucking people leading us in any direction where you need to sacrifice your life. Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe them. When there's been so many fucking lies. I mean, the more you look it up, the more, I mean, go into any of the stories on the weapons of mass destruction before we invaded and compare them to what we actually know that they really knew when they said that. It's like they did it on purpose. They wanted to get in there for whatever fucking reason. And if it's some crazy, the world is going to end if we don't stop this, but we can't tell you shit, like, I would love to believe you. I would love to believe that the reason why you're not telling us exactly what the fuck is going on is because you're really protecting us from some insanely evil thing that if we knew about it, society would collapse. But our strong, brave, powerful leaders are going to guide us without our knowledge. I would love to believe you. If you weren't all full of shit.
Yes, not swearing, but you know what? He's dead right. He's dead right. Right, so another little video. I want you to watch it. Pay very close attention to what the woman says. She's a woman reporter. Very close attention to what she says, and then tell me what's wrong with this picture. Okay?
Changed dramatically in the last 20 minutes to half an hour. Certainly, the pro-Gaddafi forces do appear to be fighting back. We're, as I told you, very, very close to the Bab al-Azir complex. We're only 2 traffic lights and a corner away, just to put it into perspective, and there has been fierce fighting outside the hospital and the road leading up to the Gaddafi compound, with rocket shelling, machine gun fire, anti-aircraft guns being used. There are NATO jets flying above us, but so far we haven't heard any actual air support from them apart from them flying sorties. But the atmosphere totally changed now. People in the hospital unable to get out, and doctors who were trying to maneuver an ambulance outside couldn't move it at all. It was far too dangerous outside the hospital.
Anybody spot what it was? You didn't hear anything.
Just a bit of smoke.
Yeah, but do you remember what she said? She was very close.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, was where she was. Where's the wall that she was talking about?
Look at this again. She's using very emotive language. You know, she's very close. There's fierce fighting. I'm only 1 block away.
There's a bloke walking down the path in the background.
An hour. Certainly the pro-Gaddafi forces do appear to be fighting back. We're, as I told you, very, very close to the Bab al-Azhir complex. We're only 2 traffic lights and a corner away, just to put it into perspective. And there has been fierce fighting outside the hospital and the road leading up to the Gaddafi compound, with rocket shelling, machine gun fire, anti-aircraft.
The area she was sitting didn't seem anywhere near the fighting.
It wasn't. It wasn't. She's crouching in full military gear behind the car.
There's no sounds or anything.
There's nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
It's bullshit.
There was a clip on the BBC News about
Well, wait, because that's next. So they're trying to, they're lying to you. They're trying to make you think something's going on that isn't. What's wrong with this one?
Tripoli yesterday, of course, those pictures coming out overnight. That's front page 4 of the Times, featuring those rebels storming Colonel Gaddafi's compound.
And the Daily Mail has a picture which sums up the feelings of many Libyans. They tore the head off a bust and then put some shoes on top of him, stamping on the bust of the tyrant said, "We'll get him."
And the Express choose to focus on the public sector's big pay boost.
Let's just take you live to Tripoli. I want to show you some pictures there. This is people in Tripoli in the centre. I think it's Green Square, renamed Martyr Square, call it. Choose a name.
Officially,
really.
I suppose, still Green Square, but
But
renamed by those. But as you can see, a huge throng of people now turning out. We spoke very briefly to Schwab this morning, who described the scenes of jubilation and celebration, saying it was a very good day.
More on that after 7 o'clock. Now, back here in the studio, Sam is talking about checks. Are they here to stay? Are they here to go?
That's what I was going to say. It was all very confusing.
Has anybody noticed what was wrong with that picture?
Just the flags.
No. Well, they did make it quite jubilant, but still, look.
The flags were Indian.
The flags.
Yeah.
There's the Indian flag. That's a Libyan flag. They lied. That wasn't Green Square. That wasn't live in Green. That was India. Of India, and BBC passed that off as footage of live footage of Libya, of people celebrating the fact that Gaddafi was out there.
They must think people are really stupid.
They weren't.
Because people
You
aren't
imagine watching that
looking.
in the morning when you're
People
getting ready for
aren't,
work
yeah,
or something like
taking
that.
notice.
Sorry, see?
When you watch that in the morning if you're getting ready for work or something like that, and
You
see
take it as
something,
read.
yeah.
You look at it and you think, oh, okay, that must be what's happening.
But see, there's a lot of people also don't actually know different flags that easily. That's another thing they depend on.
Yeah.
Because how many of us actually know the flags of the countries? We don't.
No.
So we have some idea.
All they showed was some brown faces, conveniently looking brown faces, waving flags, looking jubilant, and they just listened to the talk, the voiceover, and they did. That's what somebody put it up and said, you know, but the mass of people in this country aren't Indian, you know. And there was also a section where they actually used footage from a video game and try and pass that off as the Libyans firing at the jets, where it's part of a video game. It was a cutscene from a video game.
It doesn't seem to matter how crude or primitive the propaganda is, they'll just sell it to the people anyway.
Yes,
Well,
but
that's the
people,
whole point.
as you say, people don't, when they watch television, they just watch and they take it in and take it as the truth. Okay, that's why I've not watched television in 4 years,
It's a good idea.
and I suggest, if you want to see a change in your life,
I don't watch any news.
right, don't turn off the television altogether, okay? And it might be hard for a little while because you're used to doing that, but turn it off and leave it off, and you will find your life changes. You don't get so depressed, for one thing, and you don't start feeling crap about yourself, because most of what television is about is making you feel crap about yourself, so you go and buy stuff to make you feel better. So turn off those bloody TV sets. That's what I was saying. Anyway. So this is what happened. This is what happened. Yeah. Sorry, Libya. I was too busy watching TV. So yeah, you're being lied to. Because you know they're being murdered across the world, and you're being tricked into paying for it all. Yeah, it might seem that not paying your electricity bill might seem like a silly little thing, but listen, you're paying for these. I'm going to swear like Joe Rogan did in that film, but these people to kill children somewhere else in the world. You're paying for it, and they're justifying it because they're doing it in your name. They're saying, we're representing you, and you want us to go and kill them. To protect you.
And what?
There isn't any... Anyway.
The only thing I want to find out, I pay my stuff by direct debit. I can't do it.
Well, take it off. So go off of direct debit.
I would never give any company authorisation to
Yeah,
go to my bank.
That's it. They've got authorisation to dip into your account whenever they want. They don't do it all the time because they usually play by the rules. But if you decide that you want to challenge them in some way, they'll take it. They'll go in and take it. Yeah. So you can ignore what's being done in your name. And I've just had a conversation with somebody who basically said, as long as I can, I've got the comfortable fiction that my road tax is going on the roads. I know it doesn't, but as long as I can think that it is, then I'm happy.
It's
now,
not,
to me, that's wrong. If I know that this is where my money's going, my first response is to say I'm not paying for it. So, what I'm proposing here means you don't have to go out on the streets and riot and destroy things and stuff. You can just try and think of ways of withholding your money simply because they are your lemons. That's it. Thanks very much.
Thanks everybody for coming tonight.